Welcome to another NovaBen Storytime original. This time we go to Peru. From the coastal waters of Lima to the Andes, where devastation awaits, so is a valuable lesson. Enjoy.
Martin had only been in the village for 4 days. 4 long, dusty days without Wi-Fi, electricity, or anyone his age. His grandmother, Abuela Elena, lived in the shadow of the Andes, where the hills touched the sky and the people spoke Quechua more than Spanish. He was used to Lima noise, music, school, distractions. His mother had sent him here to reconnect while she worked double shifts. But Martin didn't feel connected to anything, least of all the quiet, fatalistic ways of his grandmother's village.
Así es la vida.
She often said, "That's life," when a pipe broke,
Así es.
when the neighbor's old goat went missing,
Así es.
even when Martin's voice cracked in frustration.
Así es, mijo.
Now, the world has cracked open. The earth moved just before dawn. A low groan, like thunder stuck in its throat, rolled through the valley. Martin sat up in his thin bed in the corner of his grandmother's adobe house, heart hammering. Walls shook, bowls clattered to the floor, and outside, the sound of dogs barking grew into a frenzy. It shook the whole area for what seemed like an eternity, rough at first, then slower and slower, then silence. Not the comfortable kind, the silence after something breathes its last.
At sunrise, the damage became clear. Half the village's homes had collapsed. A thin dust cloud hung over everything. Cracked walls, fallen stones. The road to town had vanished under a landslide. A radio played somewhere, but no one spoke. People sat on rocks, stared at the sky, waited. Martin looked around in disbelief. "Aren't we going to do something?" he asked his grandmother. Abuela Elena stood beside him, her shawl wrapped tightly around her shoulders. "The mountain chose to move," she said softly. "We must wait for help. It will come." "But that could take days," Martin shouted. "We can't just sit here." She didn't reply, just turned toward the little shrine of the Virgin by the road and began to pray. Later that afternoon, Martin saw him. A boy no older than 6 stood barefoot in the rubble. He clutched a bundled blanket in his arms. Inside it, a baby squirmed and whimpered. The boy's lip was bleeding. No adults were nearby. Martin looked around. People saw him too. No one moved. His hands trembled, but he reached into his backpack and pulled out the last full bottle of water he had. He hadn't touched it, saving it for himself. But now he walked over, slowly, and handed it to the boy. The boy blinked up at him, then took it with shaking hands. The water wet the baby's lips. The crying stopped. Martin sat down beside them and didn't say anything. An old man saw this, then a woman. Soon someone brought a blanket. Another person began clearing stones from a path. Someone opened a pot of soup. By nightfall, a fire was lit, and the people who had been still began to move. That night, as Martin and Abuela Elena shared a bowl of boiled potatoes beneath the stars, she looked at him differently. "You brought the first drop," she said. He looked confused. "What drop?" She touched his chest with her weathered hand. "The drop that stirs the fire. The one that reminds us we are still human." She said no more. She didn't need to. Days later, when the rescue trucks finally arrived, the people waved, but they didn't wait helplessly for someone to save them. The village had already begun to rise from the dust, not because of great power, but because one boy chose to act when others froze.
A kindness is never wasted. Even a single drop can wake the sleeping heart of a village. We hope you enjoyed the story, and we would like to bring you more. Please, let us know in the comments.